These are the Madden 24 Ultimate Team cards that have been revealed so far. Now, Soulslicer family, and welcome back to another Madden 24 video. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful start to your day. In this one, I'll be going over every Madden Ultimate Team card which EA Sports has leaked and talk about what they tell us about the game. Now, as we get started, if you didn't know, I'm giving away a copy of Madden 24 to a random person watching this video. All you need to do is follow me over on Instagram, fellas. I will leave the @ to my Instagram in the description. It's @BenPort. Drop a follow, like a couple of photos, and I'm gonna pick a random new follower to give a copy of Madden to. It's that simple. It takes one click. Now, the first boy that we got right here, I don't know why I'm calling him a boy. He's a grown man. It is Aiden Hutchinson's 87 overall player. If you guys didn't know, this is the card you get if you complete every rookie premiere set in this game. So say I go through here and grind through all 32 of these things, well, I'm gonna get enough tokens to get Aiden Hutchinson. Now, of course, for me, that's not the case, but this player will be auctionable and tradable, so you'll actually be able to buy this guy on the auction block if you so desire. He'll be one of the highest overall players on day one. I would suspect for core elites, the highest will be 88s, but this card's an 87, so he's up there. Now, in terms of stats right here, there's a couple things I want to look at. Firstly, I kind of just want to gauge how speed is going to play out in this game, because if you guys didn't know, speed is a very, very important stat, and I also want to go through and gauge how stats are in comparison to the overall of the player. Are we getting stats that are higher than the player's overall? Are they a lot lower? Let's take a look at all that stuff. Okay, so the first thing to look at is the speed stat. This card has 81 speed, which to me is fairly quick. I would say over the past couple of years, EA Sports has made the speed progression a little bit slower, or maybe not 2 years ago, but definitely last year, this past Madden, so Madden 23, EA Sports really slowed down the speed progression a lot. It was much more difficult to get to 99 speed quickly, which I thought was actually a positive thing because it allowed people to grind for longer and longer and made more differentiation between cards, which I think is a positive thing. You want cards to play more like they are IRL and not just be dependent on high height when everyone gets 99 speed. But I say all that, and my point is speed seems like it's going rather quickly this year. 81 speed on an 87 Aiden Hutchinson, that feels pretty quick. I'm not a huge fan of it. I prefer when everything's a little bit slower and there's more like differentiation between cards, where like Tyreek Hill can be a lot faster than some of the other players in this game, but when EA Sports gives everyone high speed, not a huge fan. Now, another thing right here which is kind of weird is, why does this guy have 78 strength? He's got more acceleration than he does strength. A little bit weird. But the other thing we wanted to look at is we wanted to see if the stats on this player are higher or lower than their overall. So the highest stat we see on this card is 88 block shed. Otherwise, everything is at an 87, an 86, an 84. So that kind of tells me right here that EA Sports isn't going to be giving like 90 overall stats on an 87 overall player. I like that. I think it's a good thing. And I think on like an 87 overall Aiden Hutchinson, you get maybe a couple stats that are at like an 87 and everything's a lot lower. That way, when you're making your decision about what player you want to get and you're deciding between some like 87 overall left ends, you can pick whichever card has the high stats that are important to you. I think that would actually be a good way of doing cards, and hopefully that's how they do them. That's kind of how this one looks. We'll see if everything ends up being similar though. Now, the next guy we got right here is going to be Justin Jefferson, boys. Jay Jetta's an 85 overall player, and again, the two things we want to look at, number one, are speed, number two, are stats. So in terms of speed right here, he's got 85 speed. For me personally, I don't mind it. I think that kind of means that for the fastest players in the game, their speed will probably be the same as their overall. So if a card like Tyreek Hill comes out, or maybe a speedster at corner, a speedster at running back, if we get any of those players that are really quick in the NFL, I think their speed will probably be the same as their overall. For guys that aren't like super fast, their speed will be lower than their overall. That's a good way of doing it. That looks kind of like what this card would display as 85 speed on a Justin Jefferson. Kind of tells me that right there. Then otherwise, looking at the other stats, let's talk about what we talked about before. He's going to have 85 spec catch. Otherwise, everything is like an 82 or an 83. I mess with it, EA Sports. I'm glad that they're not making these stats too inflated, not making them too high. I like the way they're doing that, and I also like the fact that it seems like there's one stat that's better than the other, or like one or two stats that are better than the other, and hopefully that means when we're making a decision about what cards we want to buy, there's like a couple stats that are going to be high, and the rest of them are going to be fairly average or maybe not as good, and you got to pick a player based on maybe their height, their speed, and of course those like one or two stats you want to maximize. I mess with it. Now, the other card we have revealed so far is going to be this Sauce Gardner player item right here. Again, the same trend we saw with speed, 85 speed, 85 acceleration. We have yet to see a card who has higher speed than their overall. I like that. EA, keep it that way. Please keep it that way. For the fastest players in the NFL, they deserve to have the same speed as their overall. If they're not one of the faster players of their position, drop that speed down. It doesn't need to be the same as the overall. If there's like a running back who's not super quick, his speed does not need to be the same as the overall. Keep the speed a little bit slower. I think that's a good way of making there more differentiation between players. Now, the other thing we wanted to look at, like I said before, are the other stats on this card. He's got 86 man, 86 press, 83 zone, 83 play rec. So I like the way they did this. Like Sauce Gardner right here is a man cover corner. He's going to be a lot better at man and a lot better at press. And those stats are actually higher than the overall. Not a huge fan of that, but I like the fact that there's some differentiation in these cards. I don't want them all to have like 85s across the board or 83s across the board. If anything, I think it would be cool if you make a couple stats really good and then a couple stats not as good, or you can drop some cards in the game where all their stats are pretty good but nothing is crazy good. I think that's like a fun way of making decisions for your team, where you can maybe maximize one stat, or you can go through and have like a super balanced player. But overall, I kind of like the way these cards look. Now, the other thing I want to briefly look at right here is going to be card art. We'll zoom in so you guys can see this a little bit better. The Sauce Gardner card art looks pretty cool in terms of how these cards look. It's very similar to the past Madden game. I think they might have changed up the font right here for the overall, but otherwise everything looks similar. The card art though is cool, and I think the way the cards looked in Madden 23 wasn't bad. I think it just comes down to having dope card art. Again, I would say this card art is very, very cool. Same thing, the overall looks to be a different font. Otherwise, everything looks similar. The AKA logo's on there, which of course we're going to be getting an AKA promo. That's been confirmed. And then Aiden Hutchinson right here. I actually don't know if this is the final card art. I don't think this is the final card art. I think this is like the Madden 23 art right here, but the art on the player is cool. Actually, it might be the Madden 24 because the overall looks to be the same as the other ones we saw. So this actually might be the card art that we get in Madden 24. We'll see though. But yeah, those are the three players that have been confirmed so far for Madden 24. Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner, Justin Jefferson. We went through, I talked about the stats on the players, what they kind of tell us, as well as some other important stuff for cards. And if you're wondering to yourself, when are we going to get more card reveals? How's all that stuff going to work out? Core Elite reveals should be coming very soon. I would suspect probably within a week. And I think the way EA will do it is they'll do like running backs on one day, wide receivers on one day. They'll go through positions and drop Core Elites. And then in terms of like the field pass stuff or what changes they're going to make to this game mode, that'll be coming a little bit later. But again, I would suspect that Core Elite reveals will be coming soon. They'll probably do it position by position. They might go by like highest overall to lowest. We'll see the stats on some of those players as well. So we'll be able to go through and kind of think to ourselves, okay, are these stats similar to the ones we saw before? What formula is EA using to calculate all this stuff? And I'm excited for all that. I'm excited to start building out the team. Madden 24 is very, very soon. If you guys want to see some more news, some more information for Madden 24, click on my hand right here. And if you don't want to check that out, be sure you guys follow my Instagram. Again, at BenPort. If you made it to the end of the video, click the link in the description, drop a follow on the IG, and you might get Madden 24 for free. It's that simple. I'm out. Peace.